The Pentagon is having a major recruitment issue, and it could be partly because many Americans are losing faith in the military. A recent survey from the Ronald Reagan Institute reveals the alarming trend. It finds that trust in our nation's military is down to just 48%, a shocking drop from 70% in 2018. 62% of people said the change is because leadership has become too politicized and woke practices weighs in on the perception of our forces, with 50% saying that the push to be PC has decreased their confidence in the military in a major way. And therefore, we have 6% of Americans that say they are willing to serve and 7% that say that they are extremely willing to serve. Hegseth, indeed alarming, but it's a clear and direct reason why.
Absolutely. I mean, people see precisely what's going on. First word you can say is Afghanistan. So what happens in the debacle in Afghanistan occurs. No one is held accountable. It's an utter failure. And you want to send your sons and daughters into an institution that executes like that? Add on top of that vaccine mandates, add on top of that the political correctness and social justice that's infected the top of our Pentagon. I mean, Lloyd Austin is a joke. He's not a military leader. He's got no background in being a good one. He's not interested in warfighting. He's interested in engineering through social experiments in the military. You see it in military academies. You see it in ads. You see it in the mandatory training. So a lot of the military is a family business. My grandpa served. My dad served. It's legacy. And for the first time, you're seeing a lot of families say, I don't know, do I want my kid to go into the family business? Just like cops, right? Same thing, or firefighters.
Very similar.
You create a culture where it's about politics or something other than lethality, killing and closing with the enemy, people are going to second guess it. Because serving in the military means willing to put your life on the line. Yeah. You also have to be taught to love your country, to want to serve your country. And our schools aren't doing that today.
Harris, you and I covered that Secretary Pompeo had said just that he spoke with legacy families who said, I don't want my children to go to the academy, even though I'm the third generation to do so. And my friends that are currently serving, including across federal agencies, say the majority of the communication they get from their bosses is about diversity and inclusion. It's about politically correct things. They say we're being trained to be politically correct. We're being trained in anything but actually performing our duties to be warfighters.
We are losing what it is to be America in the sense of how people want us to fight for them. Yeah. You know, when my dad fought, it was about love of country. And this country was in the 60s in Vietnam, his first tour. And it was a tough time to be a person of color at that time, to be a Black American. But he would tell all of my relatives, and I was too young to remember, he obviously would tell me this as I got older, that this is the best country on the planet. And you better love it because other people are willing to fight you for it. I'm willing to fight for this country because I love America and she has more potential than any other place on the planet. And so I've always had that instilled in me. I want to ask you something though. You know, I wrote Faith Still Moves Mountains and in there is General S. Patton. I never knew that he led his troops also, speaking of legacy, with faith in his heart. He would get together with chaplains, give me a prayer right before the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, we're talking about battles that changed this world in terms of the word freedom. I'm curious, with all that we're going through right now, can you imagine if that would even be allowed now? If anybody found out that General George S. Patton had a prayer card that he wanted all of his troops to pray, can you?
You're already hearing that in military units, chaplains and other religious aspects being phased or pushed out or marginalized. Yeah. I mean, the same example, Dwight Eisenhower wrote 2 letters on D-Day, one if it worked and one if it didn't, and one was a resignation letter. I mean, not a single general said, maybe it's a good idea that I step aside after getting troops killed in the debacle in Afghanistan. I mean, it's just a different ethos. We have a failure of generalship right now. Generals above the 1-star level are effectively politicians. They've catered to the Obama administration and the Biden administration, and those administrations got what they wanted out of them.
And to that point, you know, a special note of gratitude for those continuing to serve in those positions.
Of course.
Despite all the pressure, former Congressman Doug Collins, who sits with us here on the couch, he's still an Air Force chaplain. New Jersey State Police Pastor Lou Strugala. Those are men and leaders among us in faith and on the field that are persevering despite the pressure from right at the top of our commander-in-chief.
This is fixable once you identify the problem, which a lot of these polls do. Congressman Mike Gallagher notes that in the post-Vietnam era, the military went through something similar. And I think about where I grew up, surrounded by, at the Norfolk Virginia, the Naval Air Station, but Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, Cherry Point, Camp Lejeune, Fort Bragg. You're surrounded by people who've dedicated their time and their lives to serving and protecting this nation. With all these people move into those parts of the United States, does the mindset change among families? And do you begin to build new legacies in our military?
Real leadership can create that. You're right.
Right.
The only difference between now in the 60s is you had a conscription force then, dissatisfied with their service. Now you've got to keep an all-volunteer force. And if people stop raising their hand or they're not capable of it, you got a real problem. But you're right, it's a top-down institution that can change.
Yeah.
I regret that I didn't, in hindsight.
Oh, you're still fighting.
Yeah, you are.
In a different
way. In a different way, service. Absolutely. And to that point, I mean, the reason I did Air Force ROTC in college, Carly, was because I saw my father in uniform. I saw the uniforms of my family all around my house. We celebrated our history. We celebrated America's history across the globe. It was never lost. There was never a doubt in our family. I couldn't imagine that climate now in the same kind of households.
And, you know, what's stunning to me is how pervasive this is in the service academies in West Point. They're pushing critical race theory on the cadets. There's lessons about modern-day slavery in America. If you remember, General Mark Milley last year told Congress that he wants to understand white rage. So it's clear, given this poll, that Americans are aware of this and they don't like it. Because they see it as political and divisive. And it is divisive. Modern-day slavery in America, that sounds like something our enemies would spread about us. And the unfortunate thing is that the unfortunate thing is that it is coming from within. And there's no place more important to preach love of country than a service academy. And unfortunately, it may be happening in some areas, but in others, they're undercutting that message as well.
That's right. And, you know, if I remember correctly, today is the day that the Air Force is unveiling the new Raider, which is their next generation of the B-2 bomber, the SR-71, whatever it is. It looks like a B-2 bomber, but it's even cooler and it's newer, whatever, to the tune of, you know, $329 billion. The point is,
it's an amazing plane.
Who do we want flying it? That's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it someone that checked a box for the government, or is it someone that's going to war, that's going to battle with all the credentials?
The most qualified person, regardless of their
That's
skin
right.
color and their gender.
That's right.
That's
it.
Right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.